What's up, beautiful creators? I'm back again here with yet another video, and in this video I want to talk about how I filmed Suntopia art exhibition by Kwame Koda. If you haven't watched that video, please make sure you check my channel and you watch that. It's really short. I hope you get to feel the experience, you get to feel the exact emotions as people felt on that same day, because his art pieces were amazing and captivating. Please make sure you like and share that video. It's an amazing piece. Yeah, let's get right into it. Yeah, so quickly, I want to talk about my lens choice, how I chose my equipment and all the things that made this video a success. So yeah, I chose the Canon 24 to 105. Yeah, I chose the Canon 24 to 105. And yeah, that lens is a really great lens. At f4 on my Blackmagic Pocket 4K camera, I can go all the way down to f2.8, I think. And that's a really good aperture. Like, it's not really blurry on the Blackmagic like you would want if it was on a actual Canon camera, full frame camera or something. But then yeah, I mean, it was okay. Without lens choice, I didn't have to be directly in the midst of people to get those amazing shots and those good 24 mm or those 30 or those 50 kind of view. I could just be at all the way back and I could just punch in and get my shots without intimidating people. Because one thing I realized in filming event highlights videos is that the more your rig tends to be really super dope, like the more people start to feel intimidated, like, hey, like, I'm just here to do my thing, and all of a sudden I have a camera in my face. Like, people start to freak out. And then yeah, aside the camera choice, I filmed this on my Blackmagic Pocket 4K camera. I recently got this as an upgrade from the Sony a6400. I mean, the Sony a6400 is really great. It's an amazing low light beast. It has super 4K. I really love that camera. You can do wonders on that camera. But then I just felt like moving to the Blackmagic, and I mean, not having things like autofocus and having to do my white balancing. And I mean, this camera makes me very intentional about what I'm shooting, everything that I have to shoot. This camera makes sure that I am intentional about all the angles that I'm taking. And I think I, as a filmmaker, in the direction I want to go, I think moving to the cinema line of cameras right now will do me more good than shooting with a mirrorless camera. And on this camera, I can shoot B-RAW, which is somehow close to having a raw footage. And that kind of gives me the production experience when I finally upgrade in my career to actually working on big sets where we are shooting with big guns like the Red Komodo or the RE cameras. Yeah, that's something that I look forward to doing. So yeah, I shot that on my Blackmagic Pocket 4K. And then the next thing that was kind of a challenge for me was setting my white balance. Now, yeah, like I said, when you come from the mirrorless world into the cinema line of cameras, you would expect to do things like the camera doing your auto focus and doing your auto white balance for you. But then one thing I realized is that on this camera, you have to set your white balance, like you have to set it. And in the place, they had all this tungsten bulbs, and they were producing all this color cast on the artworks. And I mean, the skin tones were off all over the place. And with a good white balance, it makes you are basically setting the white points for your camera. You're telling your camera that, okay, this is what I want you to see as white, this is what I want you to take as white. And doing the white balance on this camera is pretty easy. I mean, you can either dial it manually, that's if you put your eyes to it and you have something that looks white in the shot. You just have to tune your white balance to a number to the point where you start to see that this thing is white. You get? But then, yeah, that might not always work. In some shots, you might not have anything white in the shot, but then you have to set your white balance so that the colors pop. The colors show exactly as you are seeing them. So in that case, you have to use something like a white card. I don't have any right now, but then you can just take a white piece of paper that is absolutely white, and then you show it to the camera, and then there is the option at the place where you set your white balance, and all you have to do is to tap that button, and it will automatically reads all the light information that's focused on that white card, and it sets your white balance for you. So yeah, the white balance I did on that day was actually hanging around, I think, 4,000. it was 4,000 ish, but then yeah, that was what I was shooting at. And yeah, I shot all this in the B-roll because I didn't want to use ProRes. I wanted to have that flexibility because I mean, this camera is pretty new. I'm not a master of it, and having to shoot B-roll just made me sure that okay, even if I mess up my white balance, if I mess up anything, I can always go back to fix it in post. And yeah, that was one of the big benefits of shooting B-roll on this camera. And now talking about yeah, the kind of shots I did. So I did close ups, I did wide angle shots, and I did yeah, I kind of got varieties because I absolutely had no idea how the video was going to turn out. I mean, the artworks was beautiful, the ambience, everything was beautiful, but then I really had no idea what the final video was going to look like. So to be on the safer side, what I've realized in this line of work is that you shoot more than necessary, and when you have more things than necessary, it gives you the editor the flexibility to just um, explore your creativity when you come back to your decks. So I had lots of angles. I made sure I got shots of the artworks, and I also captured people in the moments where they were watching these art pieces. I mean, that makes you kind of put yourself in their shoes and feel what they felt when they were looking at these art pieces. Now, talking about the post-production work that I did on this video, I think the work was pretty easy. The first thing I did was basically chopping the videos into like what I would want to do. My main focus was selling the owner of the art. I mean, I wanted this video to sell him and sell his brand. So I mean, he was the main focus of the video. And the second thing that was the focus was the art pieces. I wanted the art pieces to really pop out of the screens, and also people watching the video, I wanted them to have a feel of what it was like to show up to his art exhibition. So yeah, that led me to the next thing where I had to choose a music that basically will carry everything, because you can have a very good edit, but then if your music doesn't suit the mood for the video, it won't just sell. So yeah, I picked the music, and the amazing thing about the music too was the music had this kind of hooks that they had in there. So I kind of used those hooks to those hooks actually inspired me about how I could transition from one thing to another, because um, for the transitions too, I didn't want them to feel very like you see when you're watching a video and you can see that the editor is doing too much. Like there are just like too much digital animations. I wanted did I just say animations? I mean, there's just too much digital transitions and those glitch effects. I didn't want any of that. I just wanted this video to be in its raw, kind of like a natural state. Like I wanted to really present the event exactly as it happened. I didn't want any funny animations. So when I was shooting, I basically did all my transitions in camera. The place wasn't really wide, but then it had this side, and then there was another side here. So basically, what I did was I took my camera like this, and okay, so how do we reveal this shot? So we could whip our camera from here to here. So that was exactly what I did. So the first transition, if you watch the art piece video, was I kind of held my camera this way. I'm not really sure I was filming in a very high frame rate, but then I think it was okay. Maybe I was doing 48 frames per second, uh, 48 frames per second. I don't know, but then it was something along those lines. And then so I held the camera this way, and then I flipped it this way, so you can imagine what the transition looked like. If you don't have any idea, you can watch the video. I whipped it this way, and then just kind of doing those whip transitions. And in post, I basically just built upon that. So if I whip, I didn't just want it to end there. So if I whip, I wanted you to feel like, okay, so our perspective has been shifted like swiftly, and then there is something in front of us, like we could probably just zoom in into it. So yeah, that's kind of like my thinking behind the transition. So it was really intentional. It didn't just come like, oh, I actually had that vision in my head. So yeah, that's about the transitions. And I think there was this other part of the video where the bartender that was serving drinks. I just felt it was cool. But then at first, I really didn't know how he was going to tie into the whole art exhibition. But then I just realized that, okay, the theme for this art exhibition was like orange. And I mean, the drinks they were serving had this orange flavor and things. And it was milky. So, I mean, um, I just thought of like a transition, and that transition was also done in camera. So yeah, in post, I just built upon that, and that's how I really brought this video to life. And yeah, he really loved it. He appreciated that I was able to pull this off. It was a run and gun situation, and I've really been filming run and gun videos. And yeah, it's kind of like the more you film stuff, the more you just get creative, and when they put you in a situation, you can really start to just allow your creative side flow. So that's really how I pulled off that video. If you still haven't watched that video, please make sure you check my channel and you watch that video. It's really short, it won't take much of your time, but then you would really get to experience what how it felt that whole day at the art exhibition. His art pieces are amazing. Yeah, I meant that. Yeah, and recently I've been checking my YouTube analytics, and I've seen that quite a lot of people have been watching my videos. But then I don't know, maybe you guys tend to forget to subscribe or like. Those things kind of motivate me. And as you can see, my setup is looking all different, and that's because occasionally I do get bored, and this is kind of how I get my mood to be stabilized. I rearrange my room, maybe I change my style, or maybe I change my lighting or something, and it kind of just boosts my mood. So yeah, guys, do make sure you subscribe, you like,